Come on in, pull up a chair, take a load off, because today I will be reviewing and paging through Monsters of Feyland from Cawood Publishing. So is this a unique collection of new monsters to include in your fantasy adventures? Or is this just simply more same old third-party content for 5e? Well, you're going to find out right after this. Howdy, gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. As I mentioned, we are going to be taking a look at Monsters of Feyland in just a moment, but do want to point out, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that notification bell, because it will let you know when I upload standalone videos, such as this. But it'll also tell you when my live stream, The Daily Dope, airs right here on YouTube Monday through Thursday nights. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to go to thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. All right, so Monsters of Feyland is from Cawood Publishing. It is written by Andrew Cawood, with artwork provided by Travis Hansen. This 112-page hardcover is available for $34.95. You can also snag the PDF from DriveThruRPG for $13.95. So without further ado, let's swing on over to the other camera, and we're going to start taking a look at Monsters of Feyland. Here is Monsters of Feyland from Cawood Publishing. It includes 100 new monsters for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Take a look at the back here. There isn't a ton of like sell sheet info on the back. Just around the corner, beyond the stone gate, through the mirror, lies Feyland. Cawood Publishing presents 100 new monsters for 5th edition. So let's crack this open. I'm going to page on through this as I kind of discuss my thoughts on this source book, and I'm going to jump right on in. So what you're going to see is that the art style is all the same style throughout. It does have a bit of a kind of, I want to say a little bit of a throwback OSR feel to it. In fact, many of the monsters have a little bit of an old school Renaissance vibe to them, but they are designed for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. So we're going to get a breakdown of the two courts, right? So we got the Seelie court, which are the good Fae, or we'll just say maybe not necessarily evil Fae. And we have the Unseelie court, and those are, of course, the less good kinds of Fae, the evil Fae. And we jump right in. Each of these new creatures is going to have effectively about a page, sometimes a little more than a page, devoted to them. So we're just going to kind of page through a little bit. As you can see, we've got our stat blocks right here. We get some keys about each of the creatures or cultures, and then special actions that they may have as well. So as an example here, we have brownies, small Fae, chaotic good, talking about their armor class, hit points, giving a breakdown of their attributes. But as we see here, we get some specific things about these creatures that makes it stand out. What makes it different than anything else out there? So as an example, let's talk a little bit about brownies, being peaceful and friendly members of the good Seelie court. They're peculiar pacifists, naturally nimble, and they live in a wilderness home. So every one of these creatures is going to have some specific items about them that makes them stand out, what makes them unique. So we get a bit of information about different centaurs, changelings, dream dragon, And of course, keeping in mind the whole theme of this monster book, or bestiary, whatever you want to consider it as far as pronunciations, is all designed and focused on the Fae. Frostlord, Frog Witch. There are some really interesting creatures in here too. One thing I will mention, I know there are a lot of people out there who expect way more information about the different creatures and monsters as far as each entry. Normally, you're going to see a lot more information when you're looking at, say, the monster manual for D&D. But as I mentioned before, this kind of has an old school vibe to it. And the old school books didn't tend to go into tons and tons of backstory about the different monsters. It just, we're kind of like, okay, where do you find these things? What are these things like? Do they use magic? What kind of magic maybe are they going to bust out on you? But nowadays we tend to see many of the monster books that are out there go into multiple pages for each entry. That sometimes is a little bit of overkill, but then again, sometimes I guarantee some people will think, well, the information that's included in here is a little lighter than they would like. Personally, I found it pretty good. I thought it was to the point, which to me is important. I look at a lot of stuff. How usable is this at the gaming table? Do I need to sit there and study something, for days on end just to make sure that I can effectively run an encounter against a monster or creature or what have you? A lot of times my answer to that is no. I don't want tons and tons of background info. But then again, that's me. I've been playing role-playing games for nearly 40 years, and running them as well. So I tend to really look at stuff that I can just kind of glance at. And for an example, like the siren here, if I were using a siren in my adventure, I would just have the stats. I'd stat it out, and then I'd probably use just like some key words, just almost like tags. So I know, okay, what am I doing with when I'm dealing with the siren? But as you can see, the artwork's very cool. I like the artwork. Granted, is it photorealistic? No. But it's pretty cool. And it is pretty standardized. It's not a whole different hodgepodge. Yes, obviously it's different artists. But it's not a hodgepodge of artwork as we sometimes see, which kind of throws me off sometimes with RPG source books. All right. So these were all kind of intelligent creatures. And then we have a B section towards the back. It's a giant rabbit. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And then we have monsters by challenge rating, encounters table, and our open game license. So all in all, about 108 pages of gameable material in the Monsters of Feyland. So let's swing on over to the other camera, and I will share my thoughts about Monsters of Feyland and give it my review score. So what do I think of Monsters of Feyland? I think you got the idea just by watching the video to this point that I do like the book. I think the book is really nicely done. I appreciate the fact that the artwork is uniform throughout. Of course, that always helps when you have one artist doing all the artwork. But I do like the art style. I know some people out there may not be overly keen on it. It has a bit of a cartoonish vibe to it. But to me, kind of also had a bit of an old school vibe to it as well, in my opinion, at least. I appreciate the fact that we've got new monsters, new creatures to utilize, and they're not all evil. There are some good creatures. There are some neutral creatures in here as well. So I like that fact that we've got a variety of different denizens to choose from. Do have to say that some of them I would have actually liked to have seen a little more information as opposed to just having one page devoted to a particular monster or creature or what have you. Some of them were interesting enough, I should say, that I wanted to see a little more info. Of course, I already mentioned that one of the aspects in role-playing games that kind of turned me off is when you've got page after page after page of information about a creature, and it makes it very, very difficult to actually run at the table. This doesn't do that. So on one hand, yes, there was some monsters in here I would have liked to have seen more info, a little more in-depth dive into. But that said, all that information is right there at your fingertips, making this very, very easy to incorporate these creatures into your fantasy role-playing games, whether they're 5e D&D or something else. All in all, I think this is a really nice effort by Cawood Publishing. So I can certainly recommend this for you, especially if you're looking for something a bit different with your fantasy creatures. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I give Monsters of Feyland a very, very solid 8.7 out of 10. There you have it. Those are my thoughts on Monsters of Feyland. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and if you do subscribe, ring that notification bell, because it will not only let you know when I upload standalone videos such as this, it'll also inform you when my live stream, The Daily Dope, airs right here on YouTube Monday through Thursday nights. So that is it for this time out. Thank you very much for joining me. And as I've been saying during this pandemic, till next time, be smart and stay safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.